Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Royal Rumble review. It was a good pay-per-view. It was a solid pay-per-view. I mean, it was quality television, what we thought it was gonna be. Getting into the first match was the men's Royal Rumble that kicked off the show, and we all know who won. It was your boy Cody Rhodes, but there was important stories that came out. Now, Logan Paul did come back. I was a little hesitant about that because of recent events that transpired in the world with revolving him, and I was like, hey, WWE might not pull the trigger on having him, like, be a thing, you know what I'm saying, be around, because once you get that one sign of controversy, WWE usually cuts ties with you. Like, they don't play that. But they gave Logan a chance, and he was in the Rumble, and him and Ricochet went fucking nuts. He tried to go in the Rumble, like, right when he went in, he tried to go into the Rumble, and he was like talking shit to all the wrestlers, and literally every wrestler in there like beat the shit out of him, and I was like, yeah, that's a feel-good moment. Booker T came back. It was weird. Booker T was the only surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble, and we had no NXT representation in the Rumble. This year's Rumble was very lackluster. I feel like when it comes to the Rumbles going down the line, it should be taken more serious. I did enjoy the fact that there weren't as many tag teams. Now, Judgment Day, I don't mind. I don't really look at them too much as a tag team, even though they act as a tag team. I still look at Damian Priest and Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio as their own individuals, so I was okay with that. And all three of them being in the Rumble kind of did make the Rumble more better as far as just stories progressing and shit. Now, Judgment Day was in there, but Ray wasn't. I'm assuming he got beat up in the back. I don't really know what's going on because his music played, but he never came out. So I don't know. That was a little hole in that. It maybe show him backstage laid out and then show Dominic twirling the mask. Like, all it did was Rey Mysterio's music hit, Dominic was twirling the mask, and he came out, and then he was struggling to break the mask down the aisle. Like, that was literally all that happened. And I was like, okay, I guess I don't really know how to feel. Like, you can't. They're giving us Cody. At that point, I'm just like, yo, whatever. I can't bitch and moan too much. They're giving us Cody. But yeah, Dominic went in there. Dominic actually had a decent showing in that match. But yeah, Cody won the Rumble. Him and Gunther end up being the final two, which is amazing because Gunther actually broke a record this year for the Royal Rumble, which I absolutely love because they did two things in the Rumble. They made a lot of stars. They made Logan look good with his couple of spots. But they did something very important for the mid-card division. They did something very important for SmackDown. Now, Raw is going to have their hands full with Cody and Roman for foreseeable future. You know what I'm saying? SmackDown's going to be doing their thing with Zayn and Roman. The mid-card slot needed a really good showing. That Intercontinental Championship has been slowly rising the ranks of becoming prestige again, and Triple H or whoever booked the choreograph for the Royal Rumble did it exactly right. Having Gunther go in there from start to finish, having him show off as much as he did, actually having him wrestle for the 70 minutes that he was in the Royal Rumble and not sit around for half of the time and be like, new record. Obviously you would have a new record. You sat there. No, Gunther fought his ass off the entire Royal Rumble. That right there is amazing because Gunther being the Intercontinental Champion, like I said, Gunther showing off and representing for #1 for SmackDown, that not only makes SmackDown looks good, but that makes whoever watched the Royal Rumble, whatever old timer that came back in and watched the Royal Rumble, like, hey, I haven't watched in years, let me watch it. A lot of returning fans seeing Gunther in that spot that's gonna put Gunther over, and I feel like that right there bumped up the Intercontinental Championship and made it even more prestigious than Gunther was already doing. Like, the Intercontinental Championship was a very mid title. It turned into a TV title, a 24/7 title. I'd even say the way they were flopping it back and forth, but Gunther's really bringing it back to the prestige that it once had, and I love it. Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss. I'm pretty sure Belair won this matchup. I didn't really care too much about the whole this. I didn't care about this match. I knew Bianca was gonna win. They hit hard. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, these motherfuckers came in here and they were beating the shit out of each other. But I didn't feel it. Like, that intensity that they brought into the ring, in my head the whole time, I'm like, does the rivalry even warrant that? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying like you can come with heavy hitters. You can hit as hard as you can in a match because that just might be your match style, whatever. But when you're fighting, like the way Bianca and Alexa were fighting each other, they were fighting each other like they've been in a grueling rivalry for months, and it's finally coming to a head at the Royal Rumble. Like, I feel like they had way too much intensity for what the match actually was, and if the pace was just slowed down a little more, it would have made it easily digestible. But the way they came off in the match, it made me sit there and it had me thinking like, wait, did I miss something? Like, why are they coming at each other so heavy? Like, what makes this this rivalry so like crazy, interesting? What brings that grittiness to it? Like, I'm confused right now. I thought this was just a regular match for the women's champion. I know Alexa's been doing her thing, beating the shit out of Bianca, but Bianca's been through worse shit. The pitch black match. Now, this match was good. I personally would have, I didn't mind the ending. I mean, we all knew Bray was going to end up winning, so I'm okay with that. I would have had LA Knight look a little more strong in the matchup. Uncle Howdy did do what Uncle Howdy did. Uncle Howdy also jumped off of the stage onto LA Knight. Well, sorta. Yeah, he didn't really jump on LA Knight, but that was the goal. No shade, no hate, seriously. Like, if any professional wrestler, any superstar, any athlete who decides to jump from that risk is absolutely incredible, because Lord knows I would not. So seeing that, it was interesting, it was cool. Uncle Howdy did his thing. Personally, I would have liked to see them, because there was no rules. Like, they didn't really take advantage of the whole no rules. Like, they used the steps, and then, you know, they put each other through a table. Like, that was really it. And I was like, I don't know, I wasn't expecting, oh, they used the kendo stick. I wasn't expecting crazy weapons, but I definitely wasn't expecting it to spill out into the arena. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have, because Bray won and then he went on and beat the shit out of him after the match. I felt like all that whole after a match attack should have took place in the match, so that way we could still get that pitch black neon feel that they were giving to us all around the crowd. Then Howdy jumps from the top onto LA Knight, Wyatt goes for the pin, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have made more sense. It would have made LA Knight look strong, and if they do continue the rivalry, it would have gave LA Knight a out. Like, yeah, you beat me, but it was only because Uncle Howdy came in and did what he did. But you wouldn't have beat me if Uncle Howdy wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it puts that in people's head where it's like, okay, well, in reality, you were gonna lose anyway, let's be honest. But it puts the idea there. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just like, well, you talk shit all you want, but about the after attack, but you still lost. You still got your fucking shoulders pinned on the mat more than anything. You didn't get pinned on the stage ramp on the outside. You got pinned in the ring. So it's like, that's as fair as it gets, you know? Like, overall, Bray did the match part fair. It's just the after match. So I don't know, I'm a little conflicted about that. I've always been conflicted on how they book Bray Wyatt, because it's like when they book Bray Wyatt, they're so scared to put any other superstar over. They did the same thing with this Roman rivalry, and it's like, I enjoy it, but I'm just not interested. I don't know. The women's Royal Rumble, Rhea Ripley won. No Naomi surprise. I'm actually okay with this. I didn't think I would be okay with this, but I'm okay with this. We had a good showing. Nia Jax came back. Kana was here. That's fire. I know a lot of people were like, who's Kana? Asuka. It's Asuka, but she was, you know, in her Kana roots. You know what I'm saying? She was on her Kana shit. I actually really like that. I wasn't expecting that. Kana was a character she used in New Japan Pro Wrestling and in Stardom and all that. When she was more on the independent scene, before she became Asuka, she was Kana. Kana was just this sick, sadistic, scary kind of wrestler. You know what I'm saying? She has the face paint. She wrestles more of an aggressive style. Kana was the NXT version of Asuka in a nutshell, basically. Just a little more aggressive, I'd say. But she did good, and I felt like, and I don't know if this is just a Rumble thing, but she's been teasing it for a while, and now we got it, so it's pretty good. Chelsea Green also came back. I don't know how I feel about this, and seeing Chelsea Green be in the women's Royal Rumble made me more appreciative that Matt Cardona wasn't in the men's Royal Rumble, because he's been teasing it, you know, on Twitter, on Instagram, all over. And we didn't. I thought we were gonna get it, and I'm happy that we didn't, because I felt like he would have been used the exact same way Chelsea Green was used tonight, and that was the same way she was used before, and that was for comedic laughter. Impact did real good with her, like they tend to do with a lot of superstars that people don't really give them credit for. I understand she's more of a comedic wrestler, but something over everything else, she's an actual wrestler, if that makes sense. She wrestles. She's a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't get shown off enough, I feel like, when it comes to Chelsea Green. WWE did exactly what I thought what WWE would do, and that's, well, that. They end up, you know, making her as a comedic gimmick. Now, Nikki Cross came in. She did pretty good. Somebody who also came back was Piper Niven. Piper Niven was known as Doudrop. I love Piper Niven. I was a fan of Piper Niven during the Mae Young Classic, and I remember talking about her on my other channel, and I'm a very big fan of her. I'm happy they changed the name. I don't like Doudrop. I don't know where Doudrop came from. I know for a while she was like, oh, I'm gonna make it work. I'm happy she decided not to. Like, I'm just no. We had Sonya Deville in there. We had Shotzi Blackheart in there. I'm not just calling her Shotzi. It's Shotzi Blackheart. We had a very predictable Rumble this year. It was just about WWE actually following through, because we've had events in the past that were very predictable, and just because they're predictable doesn't mean WWE does exactly what it's supposed to mean. Like, to this day, I will still sit here, look at you in the camera, and say that at Great Balls of Fire 2017, Samoa Joe should have easily beaten Brock Lesnar and took the title. But hey, that's just me. That's just my wrestling opinion. I guess I'm one of those wrestling fans, right? I'm not one of those fans who's like fucking unpredictable with their booking, but come on, that right there, at that point in time, Brock, he just needed to lose the title. And it's like, I don't know, WWE, they always do shit like this, where it's like, it's very obvious that it's supposed to be this way, but then they go that way, so it's like, whatever, it's whatever. We had fucking, what's that shit called? Hardy, not Jeff Hardy or Matt Hardy. We had the band Hardy. I'm not into country music, so this didn't really speak volumes to me, but I wasn't a fan of this concert, so we're just gonna move past that. There really wasn't any backstage events. This show was a very focused show, and I love that. Since we didn't get a pay-per-view for December, the fact that like we got a pay-per-view this time around, it spoke volumes. Moving on, main event, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Back and forth match between the two. Very hard hitting match between the two. Everything you would expect from Kevin Owens, everything you would expect from Roman Reigns, everything you would expect from this match. Very hard hitting, very grueling. Sammy, there was a point in the match that flipped where Roman told Sammy to get a chair because the referee was knocked down, and Sammy kind of hesitated and waited for Owens to get up, just so, and not on some like attack him, Owens, here's the ring, or here's the chair, Reigns. Like, I don't feel like this was an inside job. Like, this wasn't a big heist by Sami Zayn. Like, a lot of people were trying to make it seem like, oh, this is going to be the biggest heist of the century. You know, Sami Zayn came in, did what he did to the Bloodline, walked out. Like, I genuinely think that Sami wanted to be in the Bloodline. He was with the Bloodline, but it's just, it came to that one person who just split his head. And it's happened with Roman too. Roman has kept his head and his bloodline in check for every rivalry. But remember last year when he went against Seth? That shit fucked with him. We've never seen Roman Reigns while he's been in this tribal chief gimmick. We've never seen him so split like that. We've never seen him put in a position where he loses his temper like that. Still to this day, after that rivalry, Seth Rollins has been the only person to actually get some type of mind games over on Roman Reigns. I like that. There's always that one person that's going to do it to you. You can keep your calm, you can keep your composure for any rivalry, for any feud you're going into, but there's always going to be that one person you have history with that's always going to turn those shades for you. And for Sami Zayn, that's Kevin Owens. And I love that. I love that we seen that in the matchup. That shit was good. It was grueling. It's just amazing. I love looking through the pictures whenever I'm doing it, because WWE drops a lot of really, really good pictures. Roman looked very split. He was like, yo, my man's like, you had one very easy job. And then there was a point in the match too. I'm looking at the images now where Sammy kind of went into it and he was like, hey, like, just stay down, Kevin. Like, right now you're about to kill yourself. There was this one spot where Roman grabbed Kevin's head and shoved them into the fucking the steps. Like, the back of his head hit the spike of the steps. There was no like follow through. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes like the superstar, I'll notice, like, I'm not too big into wrestling. I'm not trying to claim I know the art or anything. This is just from what I've seen. But sometimes I'll see them like grab them and they'll follow through with them, so that way like it comes off more impactful, but they're also covering their opponent's head. Sometimes you'll see the opponent actually throw their head back, but they'll cover themselves. Like, fucking Roman Reigns dead grabbed Owens' head and just threw him into the steps, and Owens took all of it. Like, that shit was brutal. Roman hit him with a spear into the barricade, then he hit him with that shit into the steps. Roman ended up, standing tall with the WWE Championship. Jey Uso and Solo and everybody came out. Jey was about to give Sammy the necklace, and Roman was like, I don't know about this one. He's like, you know what? Take care of him. Had Sammy watch, you know what I'm saying, chill with Sammy in the corner, had the Usos beat the shit out of him. Jey Uso was focused here tonight. I like that. You know what I'm saying? And for what we're gonna talk about in a second, I was very surprised at Jey Uso. So we're gonna get more into that. So yeah, Usos end up hitting him with a 1D. You know what I'm saying? Then Roman ended up giving him handcuffs, or somebody gave him handcuffs. I think it was the Usos, or it was Paul Heyman. It was somebody. Anyway, End up handcuffing Kevin Owens into the ropes, so that was kind of cool. I like that spot. It definitely gave a Ring of Honor-esque spot. I seen them do that spot a couple times and it looks brutalizing, and they just kept hitting Owens with super kicks after super kicks after super kicks, and then literally right when fucking Roman grabs the chair and he's about to hit him, Sammy's like, wait, we don't need to do this, all right? When he's shaking and shit, he's like, wait, we don't need to do this, all right? You proved your point. He's done. He's down. You did what you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're my tribal chief, of course, I understand. But what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, you did all this. He's handcuffed to the ropes. You're still the champion. What do you gain from still attacking him? Which is very right, but at the same time, you don't tell the head of the table that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Sammy stepped in. Roman was like, you know what? You're right, Sammy. I shouldn't be the one doing this. This isn't for me. We're in this mess because you and Kevin have this weird thing going on. You're with the bloodline, right? Take the chair. This is your shot. You're with us. Take it. This isn't, you're absolutely right. This isn't my place. This isn't my demon to fight. This is you. So you hit him with the chair. And Sammy's like, listen, we don't need to do that. It's not that deep. Like, we don't need. And what I loved about this, there were no microphones, there was no nothing. We heard they were talking in the ring. It was emotion. There was no music. There was no commentary. They let them go out there and they let them do their thing. And that shit is amazing. Anyway, Roman, he's like talking shit to him. Roman's in Sammy's ear. Roman starts smacking Sami Zayn and shit. He's like, yo, fucking hit him, dog. Nah, but he was like, yo, when you're in this ring, when you're with the bloodline, you're the main event. You're taking control. You don't want to do that, you can go do jackass shit. I started laughing because before this, Sami was in a rivalry with the guy from Jackass. So Roman basically saying like, yo, like once you got with me, you was doing serious shit. It was main event Sami Zayn at that point. You wasn't fucking around doing bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like you was doing real. So you know what I'm saying? It made it emotional. But Sammy hit Roman with the chair, and Roman kind of looked like, confused, and he looked hurt. And then Jay just spiked him with a super kick. Cause before that, Jimmy was crying and shit. Jay was crying. Jay's acting is fucking amazing, dog. You know what I'm saying? Jay's like, what are you doing? We were there. All you had to do was hit him. Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? And Sammy didn't even look angry. It didn't even look like vengeful, him attacking him. He just looked over it. He's just like, my dog. Like, what are you doing? Like, let's just go to the back. Like, we don't need to do all this. It's not that serious. Let's just go. You want to do the most right now when it's not that necessary. Sammy just looks so drained and over it. And he took the beating. He didn't try. He could have fought back against, you know, Jimmy and Jay. He didn't fight back. Or, excuse me, I apologize. He could have fought back against Jimmy and Solo, because Jimmy and Solo beat the shit out of him. And this is where I became a bit confused, because yes, we've had that more development as far as characters go with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, from them hating each other to Sami trying to gain Jay's trust to them liking each other, now them being like best friends and shit. So it made sense why Jay didn't attack Jimmy, or Jay didn't attack you know, Sami. But Jimmy was down with Sammy. Maybe Jimmy was just like more the level-headed one, and he's like bro, like we with the tribal chief, like he wants to take care of him, we'll take care of him, but like while we here, I guess we'll have some fun. That's more the vibe that I'm getting off of Jay now versus before, where I was like, when it was happening and I'm seeing Jay put more of the attack on Sammy, I'm like, this is really weird. You know what I'm saying? This is very weird for multiple reasons, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jay left the ring, he ended up leaving the bloodline. Jimmy was like, yo, I'm your blood, I'm your brother. I would have had Jay leave like he did, but I would have had Jimmy hold off on attacking him too. Jimmy Uso was mad relentless. Like, him and Solo were beating the shit out of him, you know what I'm saying? And it was weird because Jimmy was a defect as well, you know what I'm saying? Like, when the bloodline first started, Jimmy was the one looking at Jay like, bro, what are you doing, right? Like, I felt like Jay was the one that took the bloodline more serious, and Jimmy was just there because his brother was there, you know what I'm saying? That's the vibe they've always gave off. When Jimmy returned to the WWE and he ended up going with the bloodline, his thing was always, yo, what are you doing? Like, when did we start doing this tribal chief bullshit? And then after a while, he kind of just gave in, because Jay was like, yo, we're family, like, I just want to make this work. And Jay didn't want Jimmy to go through what, you know, Jay went through a Hell in a Cell with Roman and shit. He didn't want to go through a beating and shit. So he was just like, yo, just fall in line with me, we'll take care of the rest. But Jimmy always seemed like he was more in the bloodline for Jay versus for Roman. That I felt like that change in Jay and Jimmy definitely happened. Like, Solo was always, once Roman brought him in at Cardiff, he was always like there with Roman 24/7. Like, but to see Jimmy, or to see Jay didn't do it, it was very weird. And when Jay was doing it, Jay was smiling. He was more sadistic the entire time. Like, he was waiting for this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was weird, not gonna lie. But, hey, it happened. That Sammy is officially out of the bloodline. Like, at first, I was like, oh, maybe they're just gonna do something a little small, and they'll have to answer for it coming soon. But nah, he's definitely out after this. After that beating, it's gonna be interesting. But Jay Uso also walked out on the bloodline, so that doesn't just put a strain in the bloodline as far as Sammy not being in it. That puts a crack in the bloodline, because now you have actual blood. You have the man, which I feel like Jay walking out versus Jimmy or Solo walking out has way more of an impact, just off of the fact that Jay was the one that fought Roman inside Hell in a Cell. Jay was the one that was with the bloodline, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jay puts together the bloodline with Roman. Like, Jay was the first person with Roman. Aside from Paul Heyman and shit, but he was the first person really with Roman. Seeing that difference now, seeing Jay be the one to walk out, it definitely makes for an interesting turn of events. But yeah, I don't know, man. That shit's crazy. Royal Rumble was not like a 9 out of 10. I'd argue. I feel like that's a comfortable spot to put it at. It was good. The road to WrestleMania is looking good. We got Cody being a sure thing, and we got Rhea being a sure thing. Anything else completely changed from now to Mania. So I'm definitely very, very interested to see how that goes and what's going down with that. I don't even know if we have a date for WrestleMania. Like, they haven't really talked much about it. Now, the press conference was actually really good. I enjoyed the press conference. That was but yeah, now we just gotta wait for WrestleMania Hollywood. That's the big step. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know down in the comment section below by hitting that thumbs up button and subscribing for more. I know it was a little bit on the longer side, but I just wanted to get it out, and I enjoyed, you know, doing it. So I just hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace.